both on the campaign trail as well as after assuming office, President Trump had this recurring running bit wherein he would joke about serving 3 terms in office. Here's a short compilation video of him doing that bit.
I've raised a lot of money for the next race that I assume I can't use for myself, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know. I think I'm not allowed to run again. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to run again? And they tell me I'm not allowed to run. I'm not sure. Is that true? I'm not sure. They say I can't run again. That's the expression. Sure. Then somebody said, I don't think you can. Oh. It will be the greatest honor of my life to serve not once, but twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. Should I run again? You tell me. There's your controversy right there. There's your controversy. Thank you. You'll be seeing that on you're gonna see that tonight, Tim, on television.
And indeed, exactly as he predicted, that's exactly what happened. The news media, by and large, latched onto these comments and they ran dozens of stories about Trump's future so-called ambitions. Now, the irony is that for most people watching this from the sidelines, it's obviously a joke. The comments regarding a 3rd term are almost always presented in this lighthearted, comical way, and it's a joke since it's common knowledge, even among people who don't really follow politics, that the US Constitution, specifically the 22nd Amendment, it precludes Trump from running for a 3rd term. However, that's not to say that there aren't people who are looking to turn this into a reality. Now, whether or not they will be successful is quite dubious, but it's worth mentioning that there are people working to pave the way for a Trump 2028 presidential bid. One of these men is Congressman Andy Ogles, a Republican from Tennessee. He recently introduced this House joint resolution to amend the U.S. Constitution. Specifically, his proposal, it would change the language of the 22nd Amendment to read as follows. And just for your reference, I'm going to put it up on your screen, and I highlighted the part that would be different from what it is right now. Quote, "No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times, nor be elected to any additional term after being elected to 2 consecutive terms, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice." Now, the specific change that Congressman Ogles is proposing here to the 22nd Amendment is to change the prohibition on 2 terms to only be applicable to 2 consecutive terms, meaning that if this proposal was to go into effect, President Obama, would not be able to run for another term, but President Trump would, because Trump never served 2 consecutive terms. Ironically, it's perhaps worth mentioning that it would also allow Joe Biden to run 2 more times as well. Now, to say that this is a long shot, I think is beyond obvious. To amend the U.S. Constitution, it would require significant buy-in from Democrats. Whether you go the route of Congress or you go directly through the state legislatures, you would need roughly half of the Democrats in power to agree to this proposal. That's very unlikely. However, even though it is unlikely, there are still people working to make it happen. And to that end, while I was down in Washington, D.C. for this year's CPAC conference, I was given a sticker which really made me stop and question what I was seeing. It was a sticker that said, "Trump 2028, finish the job." Now, at first, I thought it was a good joke, but apparently it wasn't. And so I met up with the organization behind those stickers, and I sat down with their director, Mr. Shane Trejo. And Shane, he explained to me his rationale for wanting to amend the 22nd Amendment, as well as the concrete steps that him and his organization are taking to make it happen. And so take a quick moment to smash those like and subscribe buttons and take a listen. All right, we are joined today by Mr. Shane Trejo, the man who's leading the campaign for Trump's 3rd term in office, Trump 2028. Tell us about it.
Okay, so we have founded the 3rd Term Project, a coalition of different organizations, including one I'm with, Republicans for National Renewal. We are supporting Representative Andy Ogles' bill. He put it up as a resolution in Congress to amend the Constitution and allow for a president to serve up to 3 terms. as long as they're non-consecutively. So this would open up the door for President Trump in 2028. And, the idea, of course, that CPAC's been very well received. And, our stickers are going around like hotcakes and getting a lot of media coverage, media attention. A lot of liberals are very angry at the idea, but we think it's a very prudent one. President Trump's been really the only guy who's been able to rise up against the corrupt establishment and actually win. So why not go with a proven commodity? Let's have Trump be president again in 2028.
All right, just I mean, my own personal experience, I was walking down the hallway, I got that sticker. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, Trump 2028. Okay, let me ask you on a practical level, how feasible is it? Because to amend the U.S. Constitution, it needs to be a real bipartisan effort. So you're going to need to convince, like half of the Democrats in Congress to do it, right? That's correct, right?
There would need to be Democrats on board for sure.
Hey, but half of them. You need to convince half of them, right? Because you need what, like three-fourths?
Yes. So we would have to convince a lot of Democrats. If you look at President Trump and who he has in his administration, Democrat Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat RFK Jr. So we are seeing more.
But those
Democrats
guys got in without any Democrat support.
That's true. So it's going to be. We understand we got to build a foundation here, and we're relying on grassroots constituent pressure. We want the fear of God to be put in these congressmen if they don't support the third term project, that they're going to be dragged out of office, they're not going to win re-election. So we're building the grassroots groundswell to make that happen, and it's definitely something we want to use to put pressure on them. And the important thing is that another avenue that we can do, and besides Representative Ogle's bill, would be Article 5 Convention of the States. So we're looking at that. We have a white paper that's going to be coming out in the upcoming weeks exploring other ways potentially Trump can get his third term. So we're exploring every option available, and we believe the resolution in Congress is a good basis point for what we want to do.
Well, let me ask you more let me ask you about this issue on a more philosophical level.
Yes.
Because obviously, the way you're framing it would affect Trump, right? 2 non-consecutive terms. The original prohibition on a third term, had to do with the idea that an executive would have gotten too much power if he was in office for too long, right? You don't have that concern?
No, we believe that, with what Trump is doing right now, with DOJ and with going after the federal bureaucracy, this isn't a man who's consolidating power. He is trying to reduce power. He's trying to break up the power structure of the deep state and the administrative state, and it's a very tall task. And he's going to decentralize power, in my opinion, from the federal government bureaucracy to the people, and that's the kind of guy we need in there for third term, so to shape the country for many years moving forward, so the deep state just can't come back in as soon as Trump's out and be reactivated.
But once it would be put into the Constitution, it wouldn't just be about Trump, though. But I'm saying more like broadly, you're not concerned about in the future. Let's say Trump doesn't amass the power because he's diffusing the power, but in the future somebody could, like an Obama figure. He runs twice. He has Joe Biden. Then he runs again.
Well, it would be the way Representative Ogle's amendment is that if you run the 2 terms. If you get the 2 terms, you can't run for the third.
Oh, I see.
So if there's a gap in there, like with Trump, then they'd be able to run for the third term. So that's the case there. But on the philosophical level, I believe that if you look back at what the 3 previous presidents before Trump, you go back to 4, Bush Sr., Clinton, Bush Jr. and Obama, basically interchangeable policies, working for the same globalist special interests, selling us out in a bipartisan manner. So the way I see it is that it's going to be either Trump or a bunch of other political puppets out there who are going to be enacting the same agenda, regardless of whether there's an R or a D next to their name. So I see it that the power structure is in control of most of these people, and that Trump is a break from that power structure. And you can always come up with bad things that could happen, but I think it's worth. With all the benefits that could come to saving our country for getting Trump in there for his third term, I think the risk is worth it.
Okay, one other risk I feel like you haven't mentioned yet, it would be the fact that Trump at the end of his third term would be close to 90 years old.
He would be in his mid-80s, but if you look at Trump,
pushing towards the latter half of the mid-80s.
you would. But if you look at President Trump, it's almost like he's aging in reverse. You wouldn't, if you saw the man, you wouldn't think he was in his late 70s. You'd think maybe late 50s, early 60s. So this is a man with extraordinary vitality, and he seems to thrive on the pressure. So I think you're not going to find a man of his age with better mental acuity than President Trump. So I think if anyone would be up to the task of being president into their 80s, it would be Donald Trump.
So if anyone watching this is interested to learn more about the third term project, where can they go?
Go to thirdtermproject.com and you can sign up and alert your congressman that they need to support Representative Andy Ogle's amendment to allow Trump to have his third term. So go to thirdtermproject.com.
Shane, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.